Katsina residents protest as bandits attack community, kill several. Death toll hits 13 as Lassa fever spreads to 9 local government areas in Benue State. With pressures mounting on allegations of terrorism, financing, money laundering, Binance suspends Naira service on platform. On the foreign scene, World Health Organization says children starving to death in northern Gaza hospitals. Hello again and welcome to the Trust TV News Update at this hour. I am Aisha Salihu. Thank you for joining us. We'll begin with a security update where residents of Kankara local government area of Katsina have embarked on yet another protest over the incessant bandit attacks in their community. The protest started at about 9 a.m. on Tuesday with the hundreds of residents community moving from Yargoje community to Brodago community, calling on the government and other relevant agencies to come to their aid. As part of their drive to get their voices heard, the protesters also blocked the Marabar Kankara Katsina Road. Tuesday's protest was triggered by an attack on Ongor Baushe community in Kankara town about 13 hours earlier. Gunmen believed to be bandits in their numbers invaded the community at about 8:30 p.m., setting several houses ablaze and killing an unspecified number of people. As of the time of filing this report, the state government and security agencies had yet to comment on the fresh attack. Earlier, we spoke to Trust TV's Abdullahi Yamadi, who gives us an update on the protests.
Well, the protesters were from Brudagau, Ergoje, Kankara, and some neighboring villages, all in the Kankara local government area of Katsina State, who are saying they are tired of incessant deadly bandits attacks. And of course, sources at Gatakawa and Ergoji told Trust TV that residents of those communities are angry with the government's inability to secure the areas, leaving them at the mercy of the hoodlums. And of course, the protesters in their thousands trekked from Brudagau to Kankara, a distance of at least 25 to 30 kilometers. One of the protesters who preferred not to be mentioned said they embarked on the protest because of, rather it appears that the only way their voices could be heard and listened to is through the protest, lamenting that bandits have killed over 60 people within their communities at Western Brudagau and Ergoji over the last 2 weeks alone. The source also have it that they have been dispossessed of all their belongings. The protesters are also appealing to the government to, as a matter of urgency, stop the activities of the proscribed Nsaki, who often attack innocent Fulani settlements, a situation that usually triggers retaliatory attacks by the bandits. He is also appealing to the government to secure the areas and assist them in evacuating the dead bodies of their loved ones that were killed on Monday. The chairman of Kankara local government, who went around to sympathize with the victims, narrowly escaped being lynched by the angry residents who went after him, threatening to take measures against him, to deal with him in those local communities. And the residents are angry, saying nothing is being done by the government at whatever level to protect them from the hoodlums. However, later on Tuesday, the Katsina State Deputy Governor Malam Farouk Lawal Jobe, who is an indigene of the area, visited and urged the protesters to calm down. The government is adopting some security strategies to secure the area, and of course, not only Kankara local government, but the entire state. The deputy governor was heard saying that the bandits are attacking indiscriminately out of frustration. thinking that they can force the government to sit down with them for negotiations, stressing that the Dikoradas administration will never negotiate with terrorists, but they will rather be dealt with as soon as possible, assuring that the protesters will begin to see a side of relief in the coming days, urging them to remain supportive to government efforts of restoring peace in Katsina State. So that is the situation at hand, and the protesters have dispersed. Most of them have gone back to their various homes and await the result of what will happen next. Result of the assurances by the Deputy Governor of Katsina State. That is the situation.
Thank you, Abdullahi Yamadi, there with a breakdown of events during the protests in Kankara local government in Katsina. Meanwhile, authorities in Katsina State have deployed security operatives in Wurma community following protests and criticisms by Katsina residents over incessant bandits attack, leading to killings, abductions, and rustling of domestic animals a few days ago. Abdullahi Yamadi, who visited Wurma village a few days after the governor's directive for the deployment of security personnel to secure the area, now reports.
This community was thrown into mourning and deserted after 3 separate consecutive attacks, which led to the killings of 5, abduction of many residents, as well as rustling of an unspecified number of domestic animals. Bandits suspected to be loyal to terrorist kingpin Usman Modi Modi attacked and terrorized unarmed residents, leaving behind dead bodies and tales of horror. Urma, a community with over 10,000 people, was deserted after security operatives deployed to the village were withdrawn a few minutes after the first attack Monday night. At the moment, normalcy is gradually returning to Urma community, even as many residents are yet to summon courage to come back home, perhaps for the fear of the unknown. A visit to Urma local market shows that full-scale businesses are yet to pick up, even with security presence, as many traders here believe that the fearless bandits can strike anytime they wish. You can see by yourself that many traders are yet to return to the market, despite assurances that security operatives have been deployed to Urma community. The issue is that many people no longer believe in whatever this government is doing concerning insecurity. We have to wait and see. You know, once you are alive, you have to struggle for survival, no matter the situation. That is why we are here, not because we feel we are safe. Look, at this market, you will agree with me that businesses are partially returning. Many traders here are wearing gloomy faces, frequently making references with Lambo community, which is a stone throw from Wurma village, which came under deadly attacks, leaving behind 8 people dead recently. Korefi Local Council Chairman Manir Shehu was at the Wurma local market trying to pacify traders and urging them to look forward to more prosperous days ahead.
Actually, all efforts to restore peace in this community has already been done. Seeing is believing. We have already seen the role played by the Katsina State government. The step taken, what is lawful is clear, what is unlawful is clear. You can see now, look at my divisional police officer is here. He even slept here. All the security agencies are here. The traditional rulers are here. The masses have even started coming.
However, the chairman's mission could only be accomplished if these villages and their communities are secured against terrorist attacks, which had already devastated lives over the last 1.5 decades. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
In Zamfara State, troops of Operation Hadarin Daji have killed a bandit in Shahur Tasha area of Kara Namoda local government area. The troops also rescued 15 victims who were almost kidnapped by the bandits on Tuesday. A statement by the spokesperson of the Operation Hadarin Daji, Lieutenant Suleiman Omale, said the military intervention followed a distress call to the troops who forced the bandits to withdraw in disarray. Omale said during the tactical rescue operation, 8 females and 7 males successfully escaped from the bandits unharmed. He said normalcy has been restored in the area with more military patrols. Despite military operations, the bandits have continued to launch several attacks and abduct innocent citizens at will. And on to health matters. The Benue State government on Tuesday disclosed that the death toll from Lassa fever outbreak in 9 local government areas of the state has risen to 13 amid efforts to stem the tide. 9 people had died over the weekend, while 4 more deaths have been recorded in the past 2 days, bringing the total to 13. The State Commissioner for Health and Human Services, Yammar Ortese, who made the disclosure at a press conference in Makurdi, stressed the need for public awareness and early detection of cases could improve the chances of the victims. He quoted the World Health Organization as saying that Nigeria is the country with the highest number of reported Lassa fever cases and deaths globally, adding that in the past few years there had been several outbreaks of the disease in Nigeria, with thousands of cases reported. Ortesa listed symptoms of Lassa fever to include fever, fatigue, muscle aches, headache, sore throat, abdominal pain, vomiting, diarrhea, noting that in severe cases, internal bleeding leading to death. He urged the public to follow prevention steps to prevent the spread of virus by practicing good hygiene, such as regular hand washing with soap and water. Avoid eating food contaminated with urine or feces from infected rats, among others. Away from that, the organized private sector has sounded the alarm over the escalating trend of looting, targeting trucks transporting food and essential raw materials, cautioning that such acts could potentially trigger a shutdown of industries nationwide. Members of the ops voiced their concerns on Monday, highlighting recent incidents where suspected hoodlums attacked trucks ferrying building materials and spaghetti in Ogun and Kaduna states. These attacks have become increasingly common amid the backdrop of soaring food inflation and escalating living costs, prompting fears of dire consequences for businesses and the economy at large. The dire situation has prompted the federal government to announce plans to commence the distribution of free grains to states this week in a bid to alleviate the growing food crisis. However, the onslaught on trucks and warehouses, predominantly owned by manufacturers and other members of the ops, continues unabated. Recent incidents include the looting of food items from trucks stranded along the Kaduna Road in Niger State and the plundering of a warehouse belonging to the Agricultural and Rural Development Secretariat in the Day area of Abuja, where rice, grains, and other relief items were carted away. And on to the National Assembly. Plenary proceedings in the Nigerian Senate were briefly disrupted on Tuesday due to a power outage, forcing senators to temporarily abandon proceedings. The outage, described as a technical glitch by Senate President Godswill Akpabio, was resolved after a few minutes, allowing the resumption of the session. The incident highlights the ongoing challenges faced by the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company and the broader issue of power outages in the Federal Capital Territory. Nigeria's persistent struggle with erratic power supply continues to impact various sectors of the economy, exacerbating the nation's development efforts. The power situation has been further compounded by the removal of fuel subsidies, leading to significant increases in the prices of premium motor spirit and automotive gas oil.
Before it was rectified. So for some of you who had come earlier, you must have noticed that the place was totally dark. So Clark, get your technical team to be up and doing. It's not something they should have allowed to linger for that long. You understand?
Central Bank of Nigeria's Governor Olayemi Cardoso has issued a warning to Nigeria and other developing nations regarding the risks associated with debt accumulation, cautioning that unchecked debt levels could impede economic growth and prosperity. Despite acknowledging the stable situation in Nigeria, Cardoso highlighted the near-term risks posed by unfavorable global market conditions and the increased debt burden resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic. Many experts have attributed Nigeria's economic challenges in part to accumulated debts that have not translated into meaningful development. Despite this, Nigeria continues to allocate substantial funds to service both local and foreign debts, with borrowing persisting at both national and state levels. Cardoso revealed that a recent assessment of Nigeria's sovereign stress risk by the World Bank and International Monetary Fund classified the country's risk level as moderate. The CBN governor made these remarks during the opening of a regional training on medium-term debt strategy for debt organized by the World Bank, IMF, and West Africa Institute for Financial and Economic Management in Abuja on Monday. You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Still ahead. Ahead of International Women's Day, stakeholders advocate gender mainstreaming to address systemic issues. More news when we return this day. Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. But if you're just joining us, this is the news update on Trust TV. And let's take a look at a recap of some of our top stories. You heard that Katsina residents protest as bandits attack community, kill several. Death toll hits 13 as Lassa fever spreads to 9 local government areas in Benue State. And now moving on to more stories. Cryptocurrency trading platform Binance has announced the discontinuation of its services in Nigeria, urging Nigerian users to withdraw all their Naira assets from the exchange. The decision comes amid a crackdown by Nigerian authorities on Binance executives aimed at addressing instability in the forex market. Binance advised users to withdraw their NGN assets or convert them into cryptocurrency before the discontinuation of NGN services, with any remaining NGN balances automatically converted to USDT based on the conversion rate starting from March 8, 2024. The Nigerian government has blamed Binance for exacerbating issues in the country's foreign exchange market, prompting the House of Representatives to threaten to issue a warrant of arrest against Binance's CEO, Changpeng Zhao, for failing to appear before its committee. Binance executives had not attended the committee meeting due to the arrest of 2 employees upon their arrival in Nigeria by the Office of the National Security Advisor the previous week. The ongoing dispute with the Nigerian government over Binance's operations in the country includes allegations of currency manipulation and the detention of some Binance executives by Nigerian authorities. This development reflects the growing tension between cryptocurrency platforms and regulatory authorities in various jurisdictions. In preparation for International Women's Day, the International Center for Migration Policy Development, Nigeria Immigration Service, and Ghana Immigration Service have undertaken initiatives to mainstream gender within their organizations. The objective is to advance gender equality and mitigate gender disparities within the immigration system. Dorcas Yakubu has details of this report.
Gender mainstreaming is a process of incorporating the gender perspective into all stages of policy design, implementation, monitoring, and evaluation of programs and activities.
It's just appropriate that both male and female cooperate, coexist together and work well. In a working environment, equal opportunities to be given to all is essential. And I believe if country, Ghana and Nigeria are pushing the agenda, making sure that this issue of mainstream gender is being pushed forward and making sure both gender, male and female, are given equal opportunities, I think it's appropriate.
Over the years, the Nigerian Immigration Service (NIS) has made concerted efforts to implement gender-sensitive recruitment processes and gender-responsive service delivery. These include initiatives such as establishing separate queues for men and women at border posts and providing private and secure interview rooms for female applicants.
Nigeria Immigration Service has recognized that there needs to be a much more move towards a balanced service, and there are measures already being taken for that to happen. This particular project that we're implementing, the Moniz project, has as one of its key cardinal points to tackle gender mainstreaming.
The International Center for Migration Policy Development states that it is collaborating with the Nigerian government, particularly the Nigerian Immigration Service, to create an enabling environment for women within the NIS and for women who are migrating. This support aims to facilitate gender equality and empower women within the immigration sector and among migrant populations.
TMPD is trying to support the Nigerian government through the Nigerian Immigration Service to really look into issues of women empowerment, the role of women in the immigration service, gender mainstreaming, and developing SOPs and policies that can actually empower female officers in the organization, but also create awareness raising and sensitization towards female migration.
Gender mainstreaming, gender responsive training, and capacity building are essential components in promoting gender equality, preventing gender-based violence, and addressing the specific needs of women and girls in migration processes. By integrating the gender perspective into policies, programs, and activities, gender mainstreaming ensures that the diverse needs, experiences, and priorities of both women and men are taken into account. Dorcas Yakubu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Borno State government has reiterated its commitment to enhancing agricultural production in resettled communities across the state. This commitment was emphasized by the Commissioner of Agriculture, who represented Governor Zulum at the Victim Support Fund flag-off ceremony for the distribution of farming inputs to farmers in Gamboru, Ngala, and Izge local government areas. The Commissioner highlighted that the state's 25-year strategic development plan and 10-year transformative framework are geared towards fostering the resilience of Borno people in agriculture, especially with the return of peace to the affected communities. He assured farmers of ongoing support from the government, emphasizing the importance in driving agricultural growth. During the distribution event, over 3,000 dry season farmers were provided with essential farming inputs such as fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides, and improved seeds, aiming to bolster agricultural productivity and livelihoods in the resettled communities. And now away from Nigeria, the World Health Organization says an aid mission to 2 hospitals in northern Gaza found horrifying scenes of children dying of starvation amid dire shortages of food, fuel, and medicines. The findings were grim. WHO Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said on X, adding that the situation at Al-Auda was particularly appalling as one of the buildings is destroyed. The Kamal Adwan Hospital, the only pediatric hospital in northern Gaza, was overwhelmed with patients, he said. The lack of food resulted in the death of 10 children, Tedros added. Meanwhile, Geneva-based organization Euromed Human Rights Monitor has revealed in a statement disturbing evidence of Israeli tanks deliberately running over Palestinians. The Geneva-based organization described these crimes on Monday as part of Israel's genocide against Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. And in sports, Abia Warriors under the tutelage of Bethel Orji secured a vital win in Kano against Kano Pillars in a March Day 23 NPFL encounter. Daniel Ija's 79th minute rocket for the visitors was all the Umahiya Bay's side needed to shock Kano Pillars in front of a packed Sani Abacha Stadium in Uyo. It was a glorious homecoming as Aqua United returned to the Gaswil Akpabio International Stadium with a 3-1 win over Enyimba FC. Suleiman Sani got a brace for the promise keepers, while David Phillip was also on the score sheet as Aqua United overpowered Enyimba despite a late penalty by Chijioke Mbauma. At the Pantami Stadium, Doma United were held to a stalemate by Sporting Lagos despite a man advantage. And that concludes the news update at this hour. But remember, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentary. I am Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for your time.